Hello all my fatty baddies. You are looking fat and beautiful today. Wonderful to see you here. I feel like there's like a natural thing that I want to do every time I start a video and say, today's gonna be a quick one. And I don't know what that is. I don't know why I say that like half of the time, because it always ends up not being very quick. And I always end up regretting that I said that. So I think I'm just gonna say, hey, welcome back to a video, which is probably gonna be longer than what I expect it to be because I have shit to say. And I don't know, it just ends up being that way. So welcome. I wanted to watch a couple videos today and talk about them, react to them a little bit. And they both come from Christian Nightmares on Instagram and Twitter again. So thank you, Christian Nightmares, for everything you do. You are a beacon of light in the darkness that is social media. And one other quick thing before we get started, I've got a new light, which you can kind of see like the ring right here. And I'm excited to use it. I can't really see how it looks in the background, and I'm trying to get this recorded super quick today, even though I fucking know I said I'm trying not to curse myself by saying that, but I just got it all set up here. Am I even in focus? I probably need to check that. You know what? Some of the videos haven't really been in focus, so I guess we're just going with it. So grab your drink, have a sip, get your bread. You know how it goes. You know how it goes here. You know how we do it here with our bread and our coffee. I don't know what this accent is. Anyway, pull up. We about to do this.
Wives, you are not the boss of your house. Someone give me an amen.
Oh my God. Okay, we have this horrible font, this horrible design, exclaiming toxic femininity, which is really interesting because I feel like if you're on the internet long enough, you see the phrase toxic feminism. Feminism, a lot of the time by a variety of people, gets twisted into this thing that it isn't, which is like a man-hating sort of cult of people who just want men to feel bad about themselves or something. But this is going one step further and saying, this is toxic femininity, which just really it just pisses me off to even hear, because there are so many rules within religious dogmatic systems about specifically women and how they're supposed to submit and how they're supposed to be in general. That my first thought and reaction to this is just like, can you please just leave them alone? Can you please just leave femininity alone? Just fucking, you've already got it all laid out in a horrible way in your fucking book. So please just, can you lay off for a little bit? Let people just be who they are. And if somebody wants to subscribe to your rule book, then fine, I guess, fine, let them do it. I think it sucks, but whatever, they want to do it, so I guess it's on them. But to have a young woman come up on stage, all pepped up and ready to smile the sadness out of your soul and tell you that there is a new layer of toxicity within your femininity, it's getting real old. And also, she starts off by saying, wives, you are not the boss of your house. And she's making like really weird eye contact with the camera the whole time. But there's somebody who really enjoys that sentiment too much, like you can hear them clapping in there.
The boss of your house. Someone give me...
Like before she even finishes the statement, somebody in the audience already, which I'm guessing is a man, is going at it. Wives, you are not the boss of your house. That's right. Did you hear that? Hey, Cindy, this is for you. Are you listening? Say it again. Cindy, listen, this is for you.
Someone give me an amen.
And when it's just the one guy responding, she's so insecure in her speaking power that she's like, can I get an amen? She's like, I know what I said kind of sucks. And a lot of you are confused right now because this is a really antiquated way to view marriage. But can someone please say something? It reminds me of Jeb Bush doing his tour.
Please clap.
Someone give me an amen.
So what else does she have to say?
God has given you a role of submission, and you are called to be a helper to your husband.
Unfortunately, for some people this might seem like it is really antiquated. And I would agree, it is. But it's not as fringe as a lot of people might think it is. This is a sentiment that I grew up with, and I'm ashamed to say that there was a period of my life where I, in fact, believed that men were superior to women, that men were the leaders of the household and the family, and that women should submit to their wives and be helpers. So not only is this cringy because it just simply is, and it's a horrible way to look at relating to anybody, including the person that you're supposed to love the most in the world, but it also harkens back to an old idea to which I had subscribed. And that's embarrassing. Like, there's really no other way around it. Like, I often feel embarrassed about having believed a lot of these things. But that's part of why I want to get on here and be like, look, there are people who like are full on about this shit. And I was full on about it. And you might be, or you maybe were. And let's just agree, you know, we can all agree it was embarrassing. And sometimes a little bit of healthy shame, I think, is a good thing, to be like, wow, that was really bad and I want to change. And I would like to help inspire change with this kind of view. Obviously, I'm not going to get through to people who are getting up on stage and fucking preaching this shit on Sundays, but hopefully it helps a little bit when I tell you, I was like this, and now I see the flaws in this logic. And yes, I'm embarrassed, and that's okay, because we're all learning, and I want to have a little bit of room in my heart and my brain, whatever, for people to believe something like this, while still believing that they can change their mind at some point, because I did that. It is fun to come in here and poke holes in all of the things that she's saying, and I will continue to do that here in a second. But I also think it's important to remember that these are people who have been indoctrinated. They believe this for very specific reasons. They're in a community where maybe they've built that community up through their entire lives, and it's really, really hard and scary and terrifying even to change your opinion, especially when that opinion might lose that community for you. So keeping this all in mind as we continue forward with this video and with this channel. So what else does she say?
The world has really twisted this because the enemy hates marriage. So he will do whatever he can to stop it from happening.
Okay, so she's saying that the world has twisted the idea of marriage because the enemy hates marriage, and he will do whatever it takes to stop marriage in the way that it's supposed to happen from happening. Maybe I'm just having a long, hard day or something, because it's so like convoluted, and she just kept going after that too. I like really had a hard time keeping up with everything she was saying. But this makes almost no sense to me. I guess what she's getting at is that the world has twisted what it means to be in partnership, because the enemy, being the devil, has dominion over the world, and he hates marriage. Which I don't think that's canon. I don't think that's biblical canon at all. I don't remember ever learning about the devil hating marriage. And I also don't remember ever reading anything about the devil hating marriage. Maybe I'm off base here. Maybe there is something that I'm just like not remembering because it was such like a small piece of whatever. But this really feels like she's just aggrandizing something and extrapolating off of Bible verses that do exist, like when it says in the Bible, wives, submit to your husbands, and making it more of like a scary thing, like, holy shit, dude, the devil hates marriage and that's why people are bad marriage people. It's like the definition of fear mongering. I mean, can you imagine like a supernatural evil being caring about something as menial as marriage?
I'm the devil, and I'm so evil, and my purpose in life is to kill God. And you know what else I really, really hate? You know what else really grinds my gears? Marriage. God, I hate marriage. Fuck!
I don't know. I just don't think the devil would be wasting too much time with people who are upholding patriarchal values in their marriage. Like, if anything, I feel like he'd be excited about it because so many times it ends up leading to emotional and physical abuse of the women. So I think the devil might be stoked about that, actually.
Women, for so long, you have been believing a lie that God has intended for you to be under and suppressed and not have a voice and not do anything. This is the ultimate empowerment of women. God is the ultimate empower of women, but it's in his structure.
She's just all over the place, dude. She's saying that God is the ultimate empowerer of women, that under his structure of the man being the leader and wives submitting to their husbands, women find the most empowerment. I don't think so. Like, it's pretty fucking obvious that that's not true. This reads very much like several videos ago when What's-His-Face from Girl Defined was explaining that we are the most free when we're under the confines of God's plan, when we have his structure holding us back. Because for some reason, when God puts confines on our lives, that helps us go farther with life, rather than us deciding for ourselves what's gonna work best for us. So she's trying to break down this idea that patriarchal marriage structures are toxic. And she's saying anything outside of patriarchal marriage structures are actually the toxic thing. I'm sorry if this is getting confusing, but this is just like, there's so many circles she's going in and so many hoops that she's jumping through to try to make her point. And it like took me like 10 times watching this to finally understand exactly what she was saying, because it's so fucking ridiculous. She's saying when wives submit to their husbands, they are then the most empowered. When wives look for a man who is under God, which sounds very suggestive, might I add, they will have more of a voice than if they spoke up for themselves without the patriarchal structures. I feel like I'm not expressing this well enough. I feel like I'm not expressing like the confusion well enough, like how confused she is in her message, and how weird it is to be hearing somebody trying to make these leaps, these logical leaps, to get to the point of proving that basically becoming somebody's emotional slave is better for you. I'm just like, my brain, my brain.
Trusting that your husband will guide you and lead you into the things of God. You trust that he will take care of you, that he will protect you, that he will die for you. You as a wife and your husband need to be looking for somebody who is under God.
So let me try this one more time. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. This speaker, I don't know her name, so let's just call her Jenny for argument's sake, to like keep it simple. Jenny is saying that men are the boss of wives. And there is an idea out there in the world that men and women are equal, which is not true in Jenny's view. And that is actually an evil thought placed in people's head, and a toxic femininity thought placed in people's head by the devil, because he hates godly marriages, which is where the man is in charge. And a part of the toxic femininity idea is believing that when a woman gives the man the control, that's getting rid of the woman's voice, and that is disempowering to the women, which is true. Just by definition, it's true. But in Jenny's view, when you find a godly man who listens to God and lives by God's rules, and you also give him control, and you also allow him to be the leader, and you are his helper, then you as the woman are the most empowered that you could be, and you have the most voice that you could ever have. As I'm saying it this time around, I'm starting to see why people believe this. I think they believe this because they think women are actually fucking stupid. Like, that's the only thing that I can think. Like, they must think that men literally are more intelligent and superior, which again, as I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, oh yeah, duh. Like, obviously people think that, which is why we have so much rampant sexism in evangelical communities. I don't know, something about it is hitting me different right now, where I'm just like, oh, they literally think women are dumb. And that's just the end of it. And I'm kind of blown away by this right now, because I don't think I ever thought women were dumb, which is why eventually I got out of this way of thinking. Because even when I was a Christian, I got to a point where I was like, no, I think I want us to be equal. And I never could rationalize why God chose men to be the leaders of the family. Like, that was just something that was being passed on through generations. And when I got old enough to like make my own decision, again, still being a Christian, I was like, I don't think that's right. Because I don't think of my partner as stupid. But people who believe this, I think, probably think that women are just fucking stupid. Like, if you try to break it down to be like, no, this is just the way God intended it, I really don't know how you can get around being like, God intended it this way because women are dumber and men are smarter. Because why else would God intend it that way? Why else would becoming somebody else's fucking property and slave mean that you are the most empowered that you could be? It's because they think that you're too dumb to do it on your own. So if you're left to your own devices, you're just going to be bumbling around your entire life with no direction and no purpose. But if you have a strong man, a strong male leader to take you where you need to go, then you'll be the most empowered, because you're a fucking idiot.
Someone give me an A.
Oh boy. Okay, I think I'm done with that video. Let's watch the other one.
The enemy's tools of torment become God's tools of transformation.
The enemy's tools of torment become God's tools of transformation. So the reason I wanted to watch these two together is because Jenny, quote unquote, in the last video talked about how the enemy is... I hate that they call him the enemy. I'm just like, as I just said it there, I was like, God, I sound like such a fucking idiot. And they're all like, the enemy, when they're on stage, because it's so othering. As long as you keep a specific idea in your mind of an actual enemy, it becomes much easier to stay and remain in the groove that you are in and align yourself with what this person is saying. Because if you all have the same enemy, you can all agree that, you know, you're against that person and you can further your belief structure. So anyway, Jenny was talking about how the devil uses toxic femininity to destroy godly marriage. So I'm interested to hear how this guy might be able to turn that around on its head. Because if that's what the devil's doing to torment people, then God should be able to transform that in people's lives. So let's listen.
And now I get it. Now I get Exodus 23.
So let's look that up. Exodus 23. We're gonna go with the NIV. There's no way I'm gonna read all this. I'm just gonna read through this real quick and we'll just skip forward to when I'm done. Okay, man, I forgot how much the Bible sucks, dude. So basically, Exodus 23, and you can go read it if you want. And I'm not gonna touch on all the pieces here. I'm just gonna kind of give the basic overview, and hopefully that is enough to like tie it in with this guy's video. There are rules here about how to live your life, about how to be a good person. Be good, don't do these bad things. Then there are Sabbath laws, sow your fields and harvest the crops and blah, 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 like just how to live lives again. And then there are rules about how to celebrate some festivals, like not cooking a young goat in its mother's milk, who knows why. And then this last part, which sounds like it's the part that he's really talking about, God sends angels to prepare the way. And Exodus is the book about the exodus of the Jews from Egypt after being set free from being enslaved in Egypt. So basically, God is sending angels out ahead of them to guard them along their way to bring the Jews to the promised land, the place that God is trying to get them. And basically, this is God's promise that he's going to take them there, and also his command to get rid of the people in the promised land because they are not God's chosen people. So I am going to read this last part here because I feel like it'll help give the context, whereas the other stuff was useless. I will give into your hands the people who live in the land, and you will drive them out before you. Do not make a covenant with them or with their gods. Do not let them live in your land, or they will cause you to sin against me, because the worship of their gods will certainly be a snare to you. So God is basically saying, I'm going to help you get rid of these people. Kill them, get rid of them, do whatever you can, but don't live peacefully with them when you get there and try to establish yourself on the land that they're already living on, because they're not going to worship me and they'll cause you to fail. Which, like, how powerful is your faith in your religion and your God if he's like worried that other people worshiping other gods is gonna make everyone fucking fail? But it really sounds like eugenics light, where he's like, drive them out, I'm gonna help you drive them out, don't worship their gods, these people suck, get the fuck rid of them. So let's see where the pastor is going with this.
Because it's not just the angels that God sends ahead of you that he uses to bless you. Those are wonderful. It's not just all of the promotions, and it's not just the prosperity, and it's not just the peaceful situations. It's not just the yeses. Sometimes God uses the no's to lead you to a greater yes.
So he's saying it's not just the angels that God sends out ahead of you, and he's like, those are wonderful. And he goes on to explain like what those angels might look like. We all like when we get promoted and have prosperity and have peace in our lives. But God also uses the no's, which in this case he's saying are the devil's way of tormenting us to lead us to the yes. So it sounds like the devil and God are actually working together to get us to that yes point. So is the devil the enemy, or is he actually working with God to be the no man so that God can be the yes man?
God said, no, I won't take it away. But yes, I will give you so much grace that you will be stronger than it, and you will discover a power that you could have never known if you didn't have a problem.
And here we are with him making his point, and he starts screaming into the microphone, so everyone's responding to this by clapping, but I don't even think he knows what he's saying here, because he starts off by saying that the devil is the person saying no, and God uses that no to take you to the yes, but then he says God is the one saying no, so that he can say yes later, so that you're stronger in the end for it. But it doesn't really make sense the way he's saying it. He's saying God is saying, no, I won't take it away. Take what away? But yes, I will give you so much grace that you will be stronger for it in the end. It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? It makes no sense. And maybe I'm just missing something here. Maybe it makes sense to other people, even as you're watching this. Maybe you're like, oh, I get what he's saying. But I'm having such a hard time breaking this down and understanding this because it's so stupid. I mean, I'm just gonna have you listen to this again in its fullness and see if you can decipher what he's saying. And if you can, go ahead and write it in the comments because I don't think it makes sense.
It's not just the yeses. Sometimes God uses the no's to lead you to a greater yes. God said, no, I won't take it away. But yes, I will give you so much grace that you will be stronger than it, and you will discover a power that you could have never known if you didn't have a problem.
Bro, it's hitting. Oh my God, I'm getting it now. Holy shit. Okay. Wow, this guy really needs to work on his speaking skills because that is horrible, a horrible way to talk about it. Once again, we're taking a step back. I'm going to see if I can do this. He's saying that the devil puts bad things in our lives. The devil is the one who torments us with bad things. And then we come to God saying, God, please take it away. Make it peaceful for me again. Like, I don't want to deal with this. And God says, no, I'm not going to take it away. I'm going to use it to teach you something to get to this greater yes. I'm saying no now so that I can say yes in a bigger way to you later, because you will be stronger in the end for having gone through it. And I'm sorry, like, I'm still just not convinced or okay with the idea that God is all powerful and had the ability to create any reality that he fucking wanted to. And he created one in which he's just dad plus one, where he's just a parent to us. And he's like, you need to learn your lesson before I give you your candy, son, because, well, that's just the way life is. And you're just like, God, why is it that way? You created it like this. Why did you make it this way? Why can't you just make it fucking peaceful for everybody? And everybody's super stoked about it when he's talking about it at this church service. When in my view, this pastor is just using this as a way to say, hey, all you people having problems out there, those problems are not going to go away. But keep trusting in God. Keep putting your faith in God if you have problems, which all of us do, because God is taking you to a better place. And I think if you take that message down to its most basic form, it's actually a helpful message in that we all deal with hard things, we all deal with bad things and things that are not ideal in our lives. And we usually do learn something along the way if we make it through to the end. Whereas if it was just taken out of our lives without us having to do anything, we wouldn't learn anything from that. So I agree with that. And I think that that's a large part of the human experience. But what I don't like is that this guy is using a common human experience to emotionally manipulate everyone in the audience to continue believing in God, to believe that this was God's plan for them because a human experience thing was in the Bible. And I really try to check myself on my quick judgments of people, like judging a book by its cover. But I've known so many people like this man who not only look like him, walk like him, and yes, there is a pastor walk, and talk like him, and dress like him, and groom themselves like him, that I'm having a hard time divorcing myself from the belief that this man absolutely sucks. And I want to say that it probably isn't true, right? He's probably got people in his life that really care about him and think he's awesome and whatever. And I'm sure not every aspect of him sucks, but I have a hard ass time getting rid of those judgments when I see people like this getting up on stage and emotionally manipulating people to make them continue believing in something that financially and socially benefits this person. Like, I'm not here to solve the problem of religion. That's not what I'm trying to say. But almost everything about this guy triggers a memory of a shitty ass person I once knew. And the fact that he's getting up on stage and doing this makes me think that he is also a shitty person. And I'm willing to own that that's my story and that's my judgment and that that's not necessarily true. But goddamn, if I'm not gonna say something about people who are being emotionally abusive and manipulative when they're supposed to be spiritual leaders. So, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Thanks so much for watching, sticking around until the end. Who knows how long this ended up being? I'm terrible at estimating, and I never know how long it's gonna be until I'm done editing. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you keep coming back for more. If you like the video and you want to see more, please consider liking and subscribing. And also, I'll put all of my social media links in the description box below, as well as my Patreon link. I've launched my Patreon page, and I have a few new patrons, a few of which I want to give a quick, very special shout out to. My first patron ever, I already gave a shout out to, but I'm going to again because I still very much appreciate your support, Dark Lasagna. And my 3 new patrons, Extion Aaron, Bradley Cogburn, and Nick Pirtle. I want to give an extra special shout out to you 3 for having been my most recent patrons who have joined our little community on there, and for believing in my stuff so much that you would help me continue to make it by financially supporting me. It means so much to me that people are seeing this content and getting something from it, and it means a shit ton to have your support moving forward. So thank you very much.
Someone give me.
Speaking of Patreon, I gave my patrons a little sneak preview of something that is coming soon, a really big project that I'm working on. I think I will keep pushing it at the end of my videos until it's ready, regardless of how long it may take me to finally finish it, because I'm just very excited about it. So if you want a sneak peek and other sneak peeks and a special shout out of your own, please consider going to my Patreon and subscribing and supporting me there. So that'll wrap it up for this video, and I want you to go out and be the best fatty batty that you can be. Cheers.